Well, should have been watching that stew because it boiled right over, all over the place. But anyway, at least it's cooking. Oh well. Well, I finished finished making the stew. I've already eaten one bannock because I was hungry, and that's the view I have looking out from my little shelter. Just beautiful. The wind's gone down a little bit, and I'm just gonna tuck into this stew. That is surprisingly good. All cooked on the little alcohol stove. Still got a few things to do before dark, but now I'm going to just enjoy the stew and the bannock and sit back and look at the view. Good morning. It was an interesting night. The moon was so bright. It was like daylight in the middle of the night when I got up. There were owls hooting. One actually right above me in one of these trees here, I'm sure, because it was really loud. Anyway, it was pretty cool and damp this morning, but I managed to get a little fire going. Last night I had a fire, and then afterwards I just picked up the whole stove and dumped the ashes into the water. Got me some water brewing here. Make a nice cup of tea, and then I'll work up some bacon and eggs, and that'll get me going for the day. Well, got the kettle on for another cup of tea, and I've cooked up an amazing breakfast of bacon and eggs and bannock from last night, left over, and I'm going to dig into this. This is just what I need to start the day off. Sit here on a cold morning like this, and you wonder why you do this, why you go out into the wilderness when it's cold and damp and rainy, your bones are aching. Well, for me, it's times like this, sitting by the fire enjoying a cup of tea, and you're staying warm because of a shelter you've made and a fire you've got going even though it was wet, some tea you've brewed. I don't know what the reason is, but moments like this, it's like the primal survival instinct, I suppose. how to get by with nobody else, with no modern, um, heating systems or whatever. Maybe it's just the quiet. Maybe it's just getting away. Maybe it's just feeling the breeze on my face. Maybe it's hearing the owl last night, or seeing the full moon. It's one thing you can't show on a film. The smells and the sounds and the feelings. How often, when you're living in town or in the city at your home, do you come out in the middle of the night and see a full moon and everything completely silent, except once in a while there will be the sound of some wild creature. In the morning you wake up to the sound of dripping water on your tent. You stay in your sleeping bag a little longer. Some people think you'd be crazy to go out here at this time of year and go camping, crawling over beaver dams and down trees and lugging all your gear along a trail just so you could go sit around a campfire and half freeze to death. I guess you have to be a little bit crazy to do this. But there are moments when you think, wow, I wish I could share this exact moment with somebody else. Because even though you're in the moment and you're experiencing the sound of an owl, it's only for a fleeting moment, and a week from now you may try to remember the experience, but never really comes back the way you had it. I guess it's kind of live in the moment. Each moment is separate from its own. 5 seconds from now will be the future. 5 seconds ago it's the past. There goes my fire. Sometimes you have to, at least I do, I have to search for the positive things. Look at the way this stove is working right now. This box stove, I guess I could call it. And the way I've sent the shelter up, there's a little bit of a gap there. The breeze comes through. It takes keeps the fire going, and it takes the smoke out the other way, instead of in my face. I guess it's little things like that I have to grasp onto, that things that work in life. It's nothing like a good cup of tea. I've even got my toque underneath my hat this morning. I've kept all my warm gear on that I had over during the night. But sitting next to this fire, looking out over this beautiful lake, quiet, the silence, the wildness, this is what it's all about to me. I was going around the campfire, the main campfire anyway, and found this little grill. I haven't seen one of those for years. I used to have one very similar in the old days, just all in one piece. This one's a little wonky, so I had to support it with a couple of rocks, but it's great. It's perfect size for my stove. before you get worried that I'm gonna make another spoon, I took a small dead standing softwood of some kind down, and it's for firewood, and it's really nice wood. I'm not sure if it's a pine or a spruce or whatever, but I figure when I'm cooking bacon in the morning, instead of my hands not being able to use the chopsticks like I was trying this morning, I'll make a pair of tongs, I guess you could call them. Anyway, I figured this would be a good easy project. Okay, I've taken two pieces. I've cut the end of one on an angle, and what I'm going to do is put the other one up against it like that, attach it here, and then when I use them I can just push down on that and it will pick up, hopefully, bacon anyway. So now I'm going to find something to bind those. Alright, that might work. Kind of a constricted knot. I can't remember the name of that knot, but it's usually used for binding two pieces of cord together. One that's normally narrower than the other, or for finishing off the end of large cords with a small cord. Can't remember what. It's kind of a... Anyway, I don't want to name it. I'll write it in the video after. And anyway, I just clean this up, burn the ends, and be done. This is great. Your shelter, you have your heat. This is what it's all about. Warm cup of tea, looking out on a beautiful lake. You're the only one on the lake. I took the lid off, checked the sausages, and they're doing just great. Wonderfully. Really smell good too. Oh, by the way, from that same piece of firewood that I was cutting up, I made a little handy dandy spatula. And afterwards, if it cleans up good, I could always use it as a spare paddle in the canoe. I don't know if you can smell that, but that's great. And I think actually I'm going to change my mind and I'm going to do the mushrooms the same way. Put those over in there next to the fire and keep warm. So I've got the sausages keeping warm over here, and that's what I was saying about the smaller bowl fits inside the other one. And I've got the potatoes boiling. They're boiling like crazy here. Yeah, won't take long. And I got the mushrooms over here, cooking in their own juices, so to speak. And a little bit from the sausage, but there wasn't too much, actually. Oh man, I wish you could smell that. That is amazing. Get the mushrooms, the sausages, and the boiled potatoes. And believe me, I am going to enjoy this. Wow. You couldn't get this in a restaurant. Doesn't get any better than this. I've got a nice fire going. Got my shelter up, it's raining. I've got gourmet cooking. I made a pair of tongs for tomorrow morning's bacon cooking. They're going to work great. And this is just, wow. I don't know if you guys can smell this, but it tastes as good as it smells. Well, it's just about dusk now. It's cloudy and still raining a little bit, so no sunset to tell me when it's going down. It just slowly fades to darkness. May not even see the moon tonight, unfortunately. I've got this lovely fire going. I had a lovely supper. I'm not sure if it's stopped raining now. I think it has, but it's just dripping from the trees onto my tarp. It got quite misty there for a while. And then that kind of blew over. It's so quiet here, and there aren't any loons calling. But like I said last night, the owls were amazing. As soon as it got dark, I heard different, I think it was 2 or 3 different kinds of owls. I couldn't say what kind, but I walked back of the camp, and it's beautiful back there. Nice hardwood and forest, and there were enough standing dead trees, small ones. You saw me sawing some up. You can find suitable dry wood, even in wet conditions like I had to work with. And my cash box stove worked fantastic. I am so happy with how that worked. Now I've got a great fire going, and I've kept it going all day. Kept me warm all day too. Just beautiful. Like I said, if you've got a shelter and a warmth, and you're comfortable, you've got some hot drink, this type of weather is nothing. In fact, it kind of makes the whole, it gives the whole thing purpose. I spent a lot of time processing firewood, but like Thoreau said, firewood eats you 3 times, I think he said. I'll put the quote up. When you're chopping it, when you're hauling it to the house, and then when you're sitting relaxing and it's heating you in the fireplace. He's certainly right about that, because it warmed me up quite a bit.